Hey everybody, my name is Ryan. I'm an alcoholic drug addict. I have just about 11 months clean now, and it's just about the week right after Thanksgiving. And this year around this time, I was going through a crazy year. This is when I had my big episode right before all hell broke loose. Last year at this time, I was taking my benzos, Xanax, which I was abusing quite heavily. I don't even know how many today I was taking. I was, I don't even know. I was taking a lot, and what had happened was I had clonopin prescribed to me, and I was prescribed suboxone, and those two already were making me goofy. Plus, I was buying Xanax on the street, and I think I was getting at least more than, I don't remember. I think I was getting 180 every 2 weeks. And then, sorry, I'm just trying to think of what kind of crap I was getting into. So, then I went down to see a doctor because in my head, well, who knows, in my head or not, I've had 2 back surgeries. My lumbar is all fused together right now, and I was having back pain. And plus I wanted to get even higher. It was the holidays, and not to mention that I have gotten a stealing thing going from retail stores, from Walmart and Costco and that kind of thing. That had started. I don't want to blame it on anything, but I used to take a lot of Xanax and go store hopping and store shopping and stay up all night and go fill my pockets and come home with all sorts of goodies, and then sell stuff to my friends and make money and go buy more drugs, or who knows what. I had all sorts of goofy stuff I was doing like that. So anyhow, with my back pain, oh, I went down to see my drug dealer's doctor, where he got his drugs from. So went down to see the doctor and told him I wanted to get off my suboxone. Wasn't helping my back pain, and I wanted to get on Oxycontin, Percocet, Vicodin, and he put me on Xanax. So I got this prescription, and I remember getting it filled somewhere. I really don't. I remember taking it. No, I remember taking it to my normal place at Walgreens in my town, and they wouldn't do it for some reason. Then I took it to Jewel Osco, a grocery store here in town, and then they did it for me. So it was really strange, and I remember that. So I did it there, and that's all I remember about that. But other than that, I don't remember much about the whole month until I ran out. I really don't remember much. I remember a couple episodes here and there. I did get in trouble, and sorry I'm talking so slow. I'm just trying to remember stuff. I'm trying to talk and remember things at the same time, so I kind of doing a document thing here. And I did get caught by the police. I had a whole carload full of a lot of stolen things that I was going to the pawn store and pawning a lot of stuff. And the whole car was full of stuff. And I had gotten in an altercation with a guy a manager at McDonald's for a stupid. He messed up my order and he didn't apologize to me, and I went inside and I got upset with him, and he called the police on me, and I was parked in a handicapped spot. The police saw what's inside the car, and I don't remember how they put two and two together. I was being ridiculous and whatever. They impounded the car, found out the shit was stolen, and I got in all sorts of trouble. And I in 2 counties with stolen stuff, and I'm currently still going to court for this stuff. And I got arrested 1, 2. I got arrested 3 times. And the federal marshals one time had to come to my home at 5:30 in the morning. About 5 of them had to come, pounding on my door, woke me up, and came and picked me up one morning out of the blue. This is one of the charges. They took one of them as a misdemeanor and brought one of them to a felony without me knowing. It was a big mess. So it ended up being a nightmare, that whole deal. So anyhow, I'm losing track, but going back to the drugs. So I ran out of the drugs. I had a month prescription. I ran out within 2 to 3 weeks. I'm sure it was more like 2 weeks, if it was even that long. And then I decided to, well, once I ran out, I was going through withdrawal immediately because my suboxone doctor, no wait, that was later. I did have suboxone to back me up, but I was going through withdrawal for some reason from the Oxycontin and the Percocet, and I was going through some sort of withdrawal, and I was really sick. And then I was going through and then later on the month of, it went into December, right around Christmas. This all happened right around Christmas. Then I started to get off of my suboxone, and I went into an even more withdrawal. I was stopping and starting these medications by myself. I didn't know what I was doing, and it got really bad, and I had no clue what I was doing. I was just in a blur. My body didn't know what it was doing. I had no feeling. I had not a clue. So Christmas Day, the day after Christmas Day, the 26th, I checked myself into detox, and at that time I wanted to get off suboxone and the Xanax and the Clonopin, all that. I wanted to get off everything completely, and they put me on uh, Librium for 5 days, and that was it. And boy, oh boy, with that was miserable again. So I was miserable almost the whole month of December. No, I don't remember. It was really bad. Whatever it was almost the whole month of December. I was miserable. And so and then I get home, and it's just terrible. I didn't know what else. I can't believe they let me detox that fast of how much Xanax I was taking. I was taking at least 20 pills a day. At least. I want to think like 40 a day, but I don't remember how much it was. I really don't remember. I want to say I put down 40 pills a day. It was a lot of pills. And they just took me off on 5 days of Librium, and that really, really was too fast. And I came home and I went into psychosis. It was really, really, really the worst place I've ever been in my life. I was home alone, and I had to call up my sister to come stay with me. She stayed with me for 2 hours, if that. Luckily, and then what was it, Saturday? Got home Saturday, and then I think Saturday night, no, nobody stayed with me Saturday. Saturday night I called the police, the paramedics. They came and picked me up. Went to the emergency room, and I just stayed there on their gurney thing in a little apron, and they couldn't find nothing wrong with me, and I said I'm going through withdrawal, and they had no idea what the hell was wrong with me. So they sent me home. Again, I'm home again. Then my sister comes home. This is Sunday. And so luckily that Sunday I find my stash of Xanax that I had laying around the house. So I found a few, and I took some, and it took the edge off just a little bit, because I'm still freaking out. This is like really bad psychosis I'm going through. I'm thinking this is the worst mental, I've just never felt this way. And the flu. I could not take a shower. I could not, it was just nasty. I can't even explain how nasty it was. And Luckily, I found those pills. And it wasn't that many. And I was able, and plus I had all this legal shit going on. I thought I was going to jail. I did not want to go to jail in that condition. I knew they weren't going to give me anything in jail. And so I had to go to see the lawyer the next day on that Monday. And I owed him a lot of money. Of course, I didn't have the money. I went to see the lawyer early that Monday morning. I could barely drive. I don't even know how the hell I was able to drive there. I had a couple Xanax left for that Monday morning. Luckily, I felt good because I had, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 Xanax I took that morning. I felt okay. And the lawyer smoothed things over. I felt a little bit better. He said, I was able to pay him a little bit of money. I says, you know what, I feel like shit. I need to get back into the hospital. I need to go to more detox. I got taken off of this medicine way too fast. I need to get back in there. I'm freaking out. Can you take care of this court shit for me? And he said, okay, go ahead, get in there. Give me a call when you get to bed. And that was it. So, luckily, I went back in there and I drove back into the hospital and went and got to bed. And I didn't get to bed, but I came back in there. And by that time, that Xanax is worn off. And these doctors couldn't see me for it was almost 24 hours. And that Xanax had worn off, and I felt like my veins were popping out of my skin, like razor blades were just coming through my skin. It was continued to be nasty, and it was unreal. I don't ever want to experience this again. And this time, they wouldn't put me on any more Librium. I don't know why. Because I was really freaking out. And what they did for me, they put me back. I had to beg the doctor to put me back on suboxone. So, doctor, I've been on suboxone since 2008. This is whatever 2012, the beginning of 2012. This was January 3rd. Now I'm back in there since December 26th, and so they put me back on suboxone. I'm back on suboxone now, and that didn't do the trick. I mean, they kept me in there 5 more days, and I felt like shit that 5 more days. And continued to have, and then it just became what I thought was the benzo withdrawal. And being a drug addict and self-medicating yourself like that, trying to do what you think is right, trying to make yourself feel better, and it just was making myself more and more sick because I didn't know what I was doing. No idea. Luckily, things did turn out alright. I had no clue what I was doing damage to my body, but just looking at the timer here. But anyhow, that brings me to January 3rd, 2012. That's my story from December of 2011 to January 3rd of 2012. 20 minutes of explanation here on YouTube. Wow. Thanks for listening, guys, if you made it through this. I'm sorry. I had to vent there. Thank you for listening.